Game 1,000, does it seem like yesterday?
Yes and no, in different ways. It's been a long journey, but I'm definitely happy. It's pretty cool, definitely.
It's been quite the journey for you. I talked to Mike Futa, I talked to Drew Dowdy about you. And what was it like for you to give up a chance at a scholarship to pursue the pros?
Thinking about it now, not much, but back then I think it was a huge, I wasn't very sure. I didn't know, where, my career was gonna go. My mom and I talked about getting an education first and foremost. Obviously the percentage of players who make the NHL that play, minor hockey, junior hockey, is very low. So it was a tough decision, but Futa was my whisperer. So we got it done. We had full faith in him, and I definitely owe a lot to Mike Futa.
What do you remember about your first game?
First game was in San Jose. Obviously against the Sharks. My line started, but I didn't start. So obviously I think, I was kind of like, okay, but at the same time I had a lot of butterflies in my stomach. I was pretty nervous. So it was a great experience. I just remember playing against Jumbo and Patty Marleau, Jonathan Chichu, all those guys, right? So at that point they were stacked, that team. So it was, my eyes were definitely, open pretty wide.
Was there a point ever in your career, Wayne, where you wondered if you would get to this point, to get to 1,000 games?
I don't think I ever really thought about it, to be honest with you, during my career. It was kind of just one game at a time. It was a blessing just to be in the NHL in and of itself. So for me, it was, just take everything that came my way, try to make the best of it, and 14 years later, here we are at 1,000. So it's pretty cool.
If you had to identify one individual who might have had the biggest influence on your career, would it have been Mike Futa? Is there somebody else who comes to mind?
I think Futa's definitely up there. With obviously getting me to the OHL and drafting me to the Los Angeles Kings. He put his career on the line for me, and it was his first year there as head of player scouting, right? Head of amateur scouting. So Futa's definitely up there for me, big time.
Your legs aren't exactly tree trunks.
That's all right.
To last 1,000 games, being the type of player you
are. My tenacity. I think just the way I approach things. I always like to initiate rather than retaliate. So I'm usually the guy trying to get first to the punch, right? So I found that's done me a lot of good in my career.
I remember when you got acquired by the Leafs, I talked to Matty Nickel, and I asked him a little bit about what you're all about, and he said you're one of the strongest pound-for-pound guys that he's ever worked with. Where does that drive, that determination come from to maximize those physical gifts?
I think it was just instilled in me from my parents at a young age. I watched my parents work extremely hard as a young kid, and worked with my dad in the summers doing construction work, and everything that they went through, to get me to this point, obviously is, I can't say enough about my parents, but they definitely instilled hard work and the dedication into me, and I've always lived by that.
What'd your mom do?
She worked for the city of Toronto.
How did your relationship with Drew help you through the years? You're both competitive guys.
Yeah, we hated each other at the start. I remember going to Owen Sound, and he was on Guelph, and they were a big rival of ours, and every single game we went at it, and I absolutely hated this kid. And then we went to World Juniors, and we ended up being roommates, and he was the greatest guy in the world. He's been one of my best friends since I was 18, 19 years old, and we lived together. He knows a lot of things about me that a lot of people don't know about me, and he's always been someone that held it down for me, and he's the godfather of my oldest daughter. So he's just a great friend. I consider him more of a brother than a friend, to be honest with you. That's how we met. He didn't introduce me, but I'd always go to London to visit him, and through that I met my wife, and 11 years later, we've been married for 4 years now almost. We have two beautiful daughters, and It's been a great 11 years.
He told me the story of you throwing his phone out the fire.
Yeah, we had
You had an issue.
we had a lot of battles as roommates. It was always good, never bad, but we were so competitive, no matter if we were playing PlayStation or shooting pool or, playing darts. Neither one of us wanted to, give an inch. And I think that day that was actually a Thanksgiving day. We were going to Randy Jones's house, me, him, and Cluner, and he said something stupid, so I just threw his phone out the window. So it was pretty funny.
He said he slammed on the brakes.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I think he tried to kick me out of the car too.
Who's coming tomorrow to the ceremony, and you've got any messages from ex-teammates the last few days?
Haven't got any messages as of yet. Tomorrow, the ceremony's not tomorrow. Ceremony's on Tuesday, I believe. So I think just my mom and dad and some of my closest friends, will be in attendance tomorrow. My mom's been here for, I think, probably about 10 days now, helping with the little ones. So I know she's very excited. My dad gets in tomorrow morning, so it's going to be a great thrill for them.
Is there anybody, last one from me, when you first broke in on those LA teams that maybe a little bit older in their career that really helped take you under their wing and make you feel comfortable?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. My first roommate was Jarrett Stoll. And, he was great to me. He kind of showed me the ropes. Him and Matt Green, as the two older guys, kind of were, I think the two to take, a lot of the younger guys under their wing. At that point, they had just got traded to us from Edmonton my first year. They were unbelievable with us. And, I think from an on-ice perspective, I played with Michael Hanzus an awful lot over my first 3 years there. And, I kind of just tried to pick his brain. And, Zeus didn't talk too much, but he talked to me. I tried to ask him a lot of different questions. And then obviously we had Ryan Smith. We acquired him my second year. And, every day after practice, Smitty would work with me, on the ice, net front type of stuff. And, I learned, a lot from Zeus and Smitty. So, I owe a lot to all those guys.